Hi, I'm Pia and I'm Space & Case lead artist. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a natural wedding makeup that you can create at home on your own. So before we get into the look, I just want to discuss a little bit about what the difference between a sort of evening makeup and a bridal makeup is. So with bridal makeup, there's kind of two key things that we want to think about. The first is longevity. We want to make sure that the makeup we apply early in the morning is hopefully going to last us right until the end of the day. And then the second thing is really thinking about the look itself. We just want to elevate your look a little bit. So we're thinking about creating something soft, maybe something a little bit ethereal, but in the end, it has to be true to you. So I'm just going to start off with eye patches. You can make a little bit of a mess. If you get fallout, we can simply just wipe it off. So if you're a beginner, it's a really good place to start. Secondly, it gives these little patches a little bit of time to sink into the skin, so everything's going to look really plump and hydrated. I'm going to start the look by using an eye base, and this kind of knocks back any discoloration you have on your eyelids, and it's also going to give something for your eyeshadow to bond to that will make it last longer. Next, I'm going to use a colour that's relatively close to my skin colour on my eyelids, and it's amazing how impactful that can be. I'm going to use a flat brush first just to apply this onto the eye, and then I'm using that fluffy brush just to blend it in. So next I want to create a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to add a slightly deeper colour. So this one's a little bit more bronzy. And so first of all, I'm just going to add this to the outer corner, and I'm going to blend it really quickly because I don't want that to set down too fast. And now I'm going to take this a little bit into the socket. Make sure you relax your eyebrows, look straight ahead, and make sure that that deeper colour is above your crease. And then I'm just going to take a little bit under the eye as well. And then I'm just pulling this out to give a nice lifted look. So now I've created a little bit of dimension with these cream products. I want to add to those layers with powder. When we use powder on top of a cream, we have to first of all make sure that everything has set down and it's dried enough so that you don't get a blotchy application. But it will help to set the cream layer, and again, that's going to help with the longevity of your makeup. So I'm just going to start with a brown colour. And before I place it on the eye, I'm just going to tap it onto my hand just to check how dense the product's coming off, because we don't want to make a mistake and add too much. It's much easier to add more than it is to take away. And so I'm just going to be reinforcing those areas where I want a bit of dimension and depth. So that's on the outer corner and also into that socket. So before I apply any sort of shimmer, I want to make sure that my eyeshadow is looking where I want it to be, because you can't really build matte colours on top of your sparkle. That's got to be your final touch. So looking in the mirror, I do feel that I've created something that's quite cool, and I want something that's going to make my eyes pop a little bit. So I'm just going to add a slightly warmer bronzy colour onto the socket, just to give me a little bit more of a lift. Now I'm going to go and add a little bit of a sparkle. So I'm going to be taking a real gold champagne colour. I like to just press it with my finger. And first of all, I'm just going to take that on the middle of the lid. So I do want to give a little bit of a lift, but I really do love using a liquid for this. And it can be a bit scary putting liquid on top of powder, but I have some good tips for you. If you're going to do this, you need to make sure that you work the product into the brush so the brush actually feels relatively dry, and then you can almost dust it over the top. I'm really working that into the brush, and then I'm gently going to just bring that under the eyebrow. So I'm actually just going to take a kind of skin coloured pencil, and I'm going to add this to the waterline, and that's just again going to add to this brightness of the eyes and make them look a little bit more wide. And then to bring that definition back into the eye, I'm going to start off by tight lining, where you are adding your pencil in between each lash, not actually on the waterline. And then if you want to have a little bit of a wing, my favourite tip is just to do a little smudge on the outer corner and just use a brush to pull it out really gently. I'm just going to make sure I've marked out where the end of my line is, and I'm going to meet that with the corner of my eye. And I know that this is kind of the angle, that's the highest angle that I can take it. So I'm just going to do a little bit, and now I don't want it to flick like this, so I'm going to merge that together. And now I'm going to use my brush, working quite quickly so it doesn't set, and just pull that out really gently. And then you should have a pretty perfect flick. So next I'm going to curl my lashes. I think this is a really impactful tip to make your eyelashes feel bigger. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use my phone and take a photograph of myself so I can assess the eye and make sure that it's got enough depth. So I'm going to make sure I use the back camera. I've got my flash on. I'm just going to take a photograph. And then I'm just going to have a look and assess what it looks like. So I still feel like I've got enough definition here. It does look a little bit more muted. It looks very natural, but that's the look we're going for. But it's a really good tip so you can understand what your makeup's going to look like in your wedding photos. So now I'm feeling nicely hydrated under the eye. Everything's sunken in. I'm going to start with my complexion. I want to use a primer. I'm going to use this lovely highlighter which has priming properties to it, and just apply that to the sort of high points of the face. If you are somebody that struggles with an oily T-zone, it's at this point that I'd be thinking about using a pore filling mattifying primer in the center of the face. I personally have quite dry skin, so I'm using something that's going to add a little bit more hydration to the skin. The next thing is about the kind of foundation that you choose. My recommendation to you guys would be always use a silicone-based primer, and that's because silicone is flexible. So it means it's going to flex with your face, it's going to last a lot longer, and that's exactly what we want on a wedding day. I'm using the NARS Longwear foundation. What my recommendation is add your product onto the back of your hand, and again we're using that same technique of working it into the brush and just dusting on very, very fine layers. You can make a full coverage foundation look like a tint as long as you're using these techniques. So I've dusted that really well onto the brush. I can see it's a really smooth, even coating, and I'm going to start in the center of the face where I have the most kind of blemishes and redness. And that way, by the time I get to the outside of the face where I don't have as many blemishes, I'm not overloading the skin with unnecessary amounts of product. Make sure you don't forget your neck and also your ears. So I still do have some blemishes showing. My favorite product to use for this is a kind of camouflage longwear product. So the Lisa Eldridge pencils are fantastic, her pinpoint pencils. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scribble on the area. The main key with these pencils is not to touch it too much because it starts off so creamy, and if you touch it too much it will actually come off. So I'm just going and adding a little bit more coverage in any areas where I feel I can see blemishes. So next I'm going to start to conceal my under eyes. They're nice and hydrated now. I'm just going to use a flat brush. A really good tip is to make sure that you haven't brought your concealer all the way up to the lash line, because that can feel a little bit stark. So I like to start just in the areas where I see the most darkness, and then you can blend it up towards the eye, and then you don't get too much product. I'm going to be adding setting spray throughout, and that's going to lock in all of those lovely layers. Also, a little tip, make sure you test it on the back of your hand or in the air first, because the last thing you want is to be spraying a solid spray that is just a jet into your face and then your face is wet. So test it, make sure it's nice and misty, and you're good to go. So now I'm going to bring a little bit more dimension into the face. I'm going to start with my highlighter. I've just placed a little bit on my hand, and I'm just going to work that into the brush, spinning it around until I feel like the brush doesn't feel too wet. And now I'm going to lightly pat this onto the high points of the face. And we're patting because we don't want to disturb. Next, we're going to bring a little bit of warmth to the face because we're looking pretty one-toned at the moment. Sticks can be really useful because they make sure that you're not putting product in the wrong place. You can be really precise. So I'm going to start off placing the product right by the ear and following a line almost as if it's going down to the mouth, but I'm only going to do 1/2. And then I'm just going to use a brush to gently pat that and blend it in. And I'm making sure that I'm getting the hair as well, because you don't want it to look like anything is stopping anywhere or you're seeing harsh lines. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and then on the forehead too. And this is really just creating where the sun would hit, bringing back that dimension that naturally appears on the face. And then whatever I've got left, I'm just taking under the neck. So next up is blush. I'm using something that is cream. Anything that's got too much oil can start to break down the makeup that you've got on, and it's unlikely to perform and last. I like to go for the apples of the cheeks because this is a real traditional placement and it's where you naturally flush. So once that's set down, I'm going to go over again with a powder product, and that's just going to lock it in place, and again it's adding to that longevity. So I'm just going to use a really soft brush so it's not going to disturb the makeup, and I'm going to use a powder on top of the bronzer that we've created, and I'm also going to use a powder blush over the blush that we've just done. So I'm going to start with my bronzer, and now I'm going to do the same with my blush. I'm just going to wipe the remnants of whatever's left on my brush around the face and the forehead, just so that everything feels very cohesive. So now I'm moving on to brows. This is a really important one because it really frames the face, and I do like to do this after I've done my eyes because then we can see how dark the eyes look and make sure we're matching it with the eyebrows. We don't want the eyebrows to look too light, but we also don't want them to look really, really heavy. I am going to brush my eyebrows up first, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps and make everything look a little bit more defined. What I don't want to do is overfill the inner portion of the brow because that's going to make them look very heavy and not natural looking. So I'm going to start with the outer portion at the top. So now that I've got the general shape, I'm going to use a clear brow gel because if I use a coloured brow gel, I sometimes worry that I'm going to add more definition than I planned, so I'm going to use a clear one. Then I'm just going to use the end of the eyebrow wand from the pencil I was using and just brush that through. So now all we've got left to do is the lips. We're first going to do an all over with the lip pencil. The pencils tend to have more wax in them than you find in your lipstick, so they hold onto the lip a lot longer. During my application, going to make sure that I'm only overlining slightly in the center of the lip and then keeping it really snug and tight to the lip line, and that way it's going to look really natural but effortlessly make the lips look fuller. Now I'm just going to use a brush to gently make sure that everything looks very even. So now that that's evenly blended, we're going to take off the excess with the tissue, and then we can start applying our lipstick right over the top. So now I'm going to do the same thing again and just use my tissue. And now I'm just going to take another lipstick that's a little bit lighter with a little bit more peach in it and just pat that into the center to bring more dimension. So now that we've added all the elements to the face, we want to take one final look and kind of assess if we need to bring more depth anywhere or bring more vibrancy or knock anything back. So as I'm looking in the mirror, I do feel like I could add a little bit more vibrancy to the cheeks. I think my cheeks are looking a little bit dull, so I'm going to add something that's got a bit more peach to it. So now I'm going to take one final photograph and just see how everything's sitting before I start adding my setting powder and my setting spray. I can really see the areas that maybe need a little bit more. Sometimes it might even make areas stand out that look a bit blotchy, but I can already see from this photograph my cheek area and my nose looks really, really shiny. Whereas in real life, when I'm looking in the mirror, I feel like everything doesn't look too overwhelming, but here it definitely looks shiny. So I already know the areas that definitely need powdering. So with powder, we really don't want to add too much because it can make the skin look very dry. And we also want to be mindful of flashback. And this is where you use flash photography and everything suddenly looks white. So my advice to you is less is more. I'm going to add a little bit onto my brush and I'm just going to work it into the palm of my hand. And this is for a few reasons. It means that not too much product ends up being put onto the face. But the second thing is it's going to prevent stuff falling on your outfit. So especially if you are doing a bit of powder later on in the day, make sure you've worked it into your brush well so it doesn't fall on your dress. And then I'm going to use a technique where I'm rolling. And again, this is just going to help to make sure we don't disturb the makeup and also we don't have any fallout. Now, before we do the eyes, I mentioned that we'd always come back to the eyes. I'm going to have a look if there's any creasing. If we pull the eye down and we can see there's a bit of creasing, I would just take a little Q-tip and gently remove that excess. We've left the concealer enough time to sink into the skin, and this is the element that's not wanting to sink in. So we're gently removing that, and then I'm going to use a flat brush to gently press everything back into the skin so it looks completely seamless before I set it with setting powder. And so then I'm just going to use the same brush, or you can use a smaller one if that makes you feel more confident. And again, look up so the skin's stretched out and roll that brush under the eye. And this is going to prevent anything from looking cakey or overly dry. And now for the final touch, I'm just going to add my setting spray and then we should be good to go. I'm going to test it. And make sure your face feels quite wet when you do this, otherwise you've not applied enough. So we're done. The main things to think about now is what you're going to take in your handbag with you for the big day. So I would recommend have your perfect lipstick ready to go for a touch-up, a little bit of powder, and I would take a couple of cotton buds just in case you have a little bit of tears under the eye that are disturbing the makeup, and then you're pretty much good to go. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial video. I hope you found it helpful. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.